Alrighty, good morning, good morning, good morning. Are we ready? Give me a quick voice check. I'm gonna go ahead and turn down the audio. My man Stan, got Jay, Eliza, Avi's in here too. Zin, Wolvie. Wolvie is playing Path of Exile. This guy doesn't have his priorities right. Oh, he's typing. Okay, there we go. He does have his priorities right. Let's just jump right into it. Let's just jump right into it. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. My name is Sean Jackson and welcome you back to Why Am I So Freaking Large? That's too large. Too large. I'm wearing red, guys. Am I trying to signal something? Am I trying to signal something? Not really. Just feeling red today. Feeling comfy. This is a comfy t-shirt, alright? This is comfy. That's it. Don't look into it. Don't look into it. Let's see. I gotta get the chat up here too. Do you guys have any requests? Any altcoin requests? Let's pop out the chat. Boom. You go here. You go there. Krisha's laughing at comfy in red. I've literally been comfy with the markets being red. As you guys know, we call this drawdown. We call the pickup too, because hey, guess whose birthday it's been recently? Oh, by the way, guys, there has been a birthday. I'll turn up the music on my end. Birthday coupon running. Every birthday, important birthday to Mango, we run a discount. Sean's birthday, Krisha's birthday, and Jesus's birthday. So Christmas, Sean's birthday, and Krisha's birthday. Happened to be my birthday recently, and we called for a market event leading into my birthday. I kept something ready for you guys. I prepared. I spent hours and hours and hours prepping for this banner. Prepping on this banner. Prepping to make this banner. I can't speak English today. You guys like my work? The simple text. The coupon code is BJ25 or BJ2025. One of them should work. One of them should work. They both should work now, but yeah, it should work on all of our products: the Mango Dashboard, Mango Seed, Mango Dynamic, Mango Lifeline, and Mango Sprouts too. And folk ask me whether they should get the Mango Seed or the Mango Dynamic. I always recommend the Mango Seed program. It's cheaper and will be 10x more efficient for the rest of your life, because what we teach at Mango Seed is not just trading, but honestly, how to invest in the markets and your life. Like we talk about stuff that you'll never learn anywhere else, and people often come up to me and say, "Hey, Sean, you taught me things that I have taken on to use for everything else in, and it's not just me, by the way. There's so many other seedlings in there that you can learn from. So yeah, that being said, let's just get right into it. Here we are looking at the Mango dashboard, app.mangoresearch.co, and I'm going to dive into the drop downs of, like, for example, Ethereum or Bitcoin. Now you guys have taken a look at it. It doesn't really matter right now because all we want to look at is the colors that we are seeing, right? We're going to be doing a color analysis. And what's popping out to you guys? Blue, 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 right? Right here. The volatility is blue across the board, guys, okay? We are looking at the daily time frame, and what this is telling us is that across the board, across the market, we have volatility compressing. Volatility compression leads to volatility expansion, and these moments are the best periods for us at Mango, at the very least, because we understand this idea. We have been regurgitating this idea. We have been redundant on this idea that volatility compression leads to volatility expansion, and what ends up happening is the market misprices volatility. Remember, you don't make money, guys, on being on knowing what the truth is. You don't make money on that. What you make money on is mispricing of what the truth is, right? If the market has priced in the truth completely, then there's no edge to be had. You got to make money on what's been mispriced, either to the upside or towards the downside. That's really, really important. And one thing that has been consistent for years now that I have been noticing is the market tends to consistently misprice the volatility that shows up after a prolonged period of volatility compression, right? So when you see volatility in these single digits like this, guys, 3, 10, 1, 17, I mean, we don't see this often, guys. We don't see this often. You're likely gonna get a move that surprises the market because they get lulled into complacency. Now, the volatility doesn't tell us which direction the expansion is going to happen, right? We have to. That's what the rest of the video today, the stream today, is going to be about. But what we have to be prepped for now is, hey, we're seeing a lot of blue, and this blue is single digit. Lots of single digit blues. Market is likely going to be underpricing a high impact event, right? And that's where Mango makes most of our money, right? We catch these monster wins as opposed to catching those single small wins. And the small, don't get me wrong, they're fun to do, but they get exhausting. You don't want to do that for the rest of your freaking life, man. Holy crap. Like, you might as well just go back to 9 to 5, right? If you guys are actually trying to get out of the 9 to 5 grind, don't do it telling yourself that I'm gonna become a day trader. Don't do it. Don't. Because I mean, no offense to people who actually love it, day in and day out, staying on the charts and putting on those trades. You start your trades at 9, you end your trades at 5. No offense to you who love doing it, but if you were anything like me during my corporate life, I left the corporate life because I wanted to spend time with my family, vacationing, on the beach, right, doing what I want, keeping fit. That's what Mango's about, right? And we like to catch the big trendy winners. And the best time to do that is these phases. Now, volatility, compression, blue, 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 blue. We're seeing a lot of greens too, though. So that gives us a greens on the trend side. That gives us an idea of what direction this expansion could lead to. But we have enough reds and neutrals as well. So we don't want to make like a flat bias. So let's dive into the charts. Before we do that, though, any questions? I'll answer one question before we go on. Elisa says, even though I'm 7 years in, I still feel like my system needs an overhaul, and I'm seriously considering the seed program. I've been hesitant since I'm not a beginner, loving the dashboard too. Lisa, like, you should. Many of the seedlings who did join in actually are not were not beginners. Now, I do recommend beginners to not get intimidated by the fact that the C program is extremely comprehensive. But at the same time, if you're not a beginner, there's so much that you can take away from the C program. I do recommend reaching out to seedlings yourself and talking to them and getting an unbiased opinion. And make sure you go through the curriculum yourself. Like go like you can go on. Let me just pull it up for you guys. You can go on over to the Mango Seed, themangoway.com/seed, and a lot of people miss the fact that I'll do it for you guys right now. All right, that there's a button here. Like when you come up to curriculum, your freedom starts here. Wow, nice. I mean, when you go to the curriculum, right? Thinking like a trader. Right underneath, there's a drop down here, and yeah, go through the entire thing. And if you have any questions, reach out to me, Krisha, or you could reach out to Avi too. Reach out to Mark. Right. There you go. So go through the entire thing, and yeah, the way we do things at Seed is very, very different compared to other communities out there. I will say this though. I want to answer your question. It's not a question, so to speak, but you did mention something in your comment that I do want to talk about, because I think a lot of system traders have been struggling with this cycle. What I've noticed over the past multiple cycles, and when I'm talking about cycles, I'm talking about mango cycles, okay? What has really, really helped me since 2019 has been slowly reframing my mindset to playing these 6-month cycles, even through your mindset. You don't need to execute on them. We have been executing on them recently. We don't need to execute on them. What has been helping me is looking at things through a 6-month perspective, because it allows me to make changes more often than I otherwise would have been allowed to make changes, right? And what I was able to notice was that trying to stick to a system because you've backtested in the past is likely going to lead to frustration and failure, right? Because the markets have just not been moving that way at all, right? If you think about it, people keep talking about the denominator has been getting debased, blah, 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 and now we've been seeing debasement of the denominator at an exponential rate. Why would we think that the markets are going to remain... Why would the market's behavior remain consistent from a few years ago to today, right? So what I'm trying to say is, what worked in a previous cycle, most recently, will most likely not work in the most current cycle. What I would like you guys to say is, hey, I will backtest more so to start understanding the behavior of the cycle, understanding the behavior of the market psychology, understanding the behavior of the market participants. Backtesting is extremely useful for that. But if you try to take, for example, the weekly Tenkin worked in the previous cycle, right? The weekly 21 EMA worked in the cycle before that, right? I'm just giving examples. It's not necessary that it's going to work the cycle. You have to adapt. You have to watch what's happening. What we did this cycle, right? We had a base case as to what we're looking for. We initiated our trade over here, right? But the bi-weekly dynamic came into our focus only somewhere around this zone, because Julian was the one to consistently point it out. I'm just going to pop it up for you guys. And again, you got to use a community together. Bi-weekly, right? The community is going to be very, very important, and you got to throw your ego out of the door. Julian was pointing this out to us and saying, hey, this is really being respected. And I kept an eye on it, and we had our own set of things that we were looking at during this phase, right? And Krish and I were doing these duo videos every day in the morning. And then once I was able to see that trade setup through and through, there was an Ichimoku trade setup going, and we're going to come to that in a bit. But once you saw that through and through, right, I was like, all right, the bi-weekly dynamic is what we need to be keeping an eye on, guys, for this particular market cycle, because it seems to be working really well. And look at that, throughout this entire cycle, the bi-weekly dynamic was our edge, right? So all of this is to say is that you need to adapt your system to the current cycle. That might be a tad bit difficult to do. There's a little bit of discretion needed in all of this, but it's very, very important, because you're going to get frustrated if you don't. You're going to find that your system that worked in the previous cycle is not working the cycle, because the market behavior is changing. And that's why you got to be dynamic as a trader too. We did the same thing for SUI. We identified, right? I know, we've just broken. I planned out a full script for you guys, and I've broken script already. But This is XRP. We're going to be doing XRP today, by the way, guys. We're going to come back to it in a bit. But for example, SUI, right? We were rewarded for being adaptive to this market. We identified that initially it was following the 2-day dynamic, right? Right over here. Let me get the cleaner dynamic template up for you guys. We identified that, hey, the 2-day dynamic is being respected. Let's trade it, right? Let's trade it. As simple as that. It's being respected. Let's trade it. And we had a thesis for around $2 or until the 2-day dynamic holds. Okay, cool. So we played it. It lost the 2-day dynamic. Then we played it to the downside. Now, by playing it to the downside, all you have to say is, I'm not. You can short it if you want to. I didn't, but you can just say, I'm going to be out. I'm going to be out. Going short allocation is good enough. You get back in over here, and the system's working. The cycle, right? This cycle, the 2-day is working. So we continue playing it. We continue playing it. We continue playing it. We continue playing it. This time around, we had a different target. $7 or the 2-day dynamic breaks. The 2-day dynamic broke before hitting our target. We're out, right? Now, we get back in again over here. 2-day dynamic activates. This time, however, it did not work, right? It kind of worked. We got a nice move to, up until here, but the market decided to change. The asset decided to change. I immediately told you guys when we lost it over here, I'm like, I'm no longer going to be looking at the 2-day dynamic as edge for this trend trade. I think it's going to adapt to the higher time frames, right? I told you guys that. And what time frame? We don't know. We're going high, right? So we'll wait for the trend to actually develop before we know what time frame this wants to trade on. And clearly, this has been taking months to consolidate, right? And we look at the monthly here, and we can see now that this is putting in a bull flag on the monthly. So we just have to wait for the monthly to break. Sorry, guys. I went on a massive tangent, but I think this is really important for all of you guys to understand why it's important to adapt to the current behavior of your asset as opposed to just backtesting. Backtesting is very important. Don't stop doing it. Continue to do it, right? And work hard on it. But don't marry it. Man. Okay, so Krisha says, Sean, you should talk about the point you made on market sentiment and the last time we were at neutral. Yeah, I actually do have that ready too. Okay, let's do that. But before we do that, I want to answer one question I've been getting a lot from people. People have been asking me, hey, Sean, has anything changed with the most recent market action? And I want to say, no, nothing has changed. We are still playing the same trade. So let's give you guys a quick recap of where we are with the Mango view, okay, which is a bigger picture view. We initiated our trade, guys. You guys need to understand, those of you who are just joining joining Mango at this juncture of the cycle, you guys need to know that we are deep in profits. So we initiated our trade, our spot trade, right over here at around, I'd say like 17.2K-ish, right? It was a cascading pattern trade where it's essentially try to draw it out for you guys, right? We're looking for a falling channel, right? But the falling channel breaks down, right? That was the trade idea. We were expecting it, okay? You can only play this once you expect it. You don't wait for the falling channel to break down and then say, hey, this is that. No, you got to pre-expect it. You're expecting it and then break back into the channel and above the channel, right? So we built our trade 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's where it all started, and then we played for the massive equilibrium trade into all-time high before the halving, etc., etc. And now we had and back then we had a major cyclical target, which is here at around $120,000. So our first target, T1, was around 24,000. T1.5, I call it T1.5 because I was expecting price to stop there, but I wasn't going to take profits. I wasn't going to be doing anything about it, right? So it wasn't important enough for me to take profits. T2 was very important. I wanted to see how Bitcoin reacted over here. If Bitcoin kept going, right, we had to worry a tad bit. And thank God Bitcoin stopped at 60K, because if it didn't, I would have been looking to take profits somewhere around 90K, right? So yeah, it all played out, and our major cyclical target was 120. You guys need to understand that we are sitting at our cyclical target from all the way back in 2022. That's why I want to bring this up. But nothing has changed in how we execute from here onward because we haven't lost our cyclical invalidations just yet, right? Mainly the biweekly dynamic is still holding, the monthly 10 SMA is still holding, and the Ichimoku, guys, is still in equilibrium, right? If you draw a horizontal to the top of the Ichimoku right over there, and then you can go ahead and see that the drawdown to the Ichimoku top of the cloud currently sitting at only around 22%. That's how I judge whether we are healthy in terms of our consolidation or our equilibrium away from the Ichimoku. Just a quick gauge, right? Now, this is not the end all and be all, because if we break down and break underneath the bottom of the cloud, that's a bad sign, right? So just because we are in equilibrium doesn't mean we can't break down. But what it does tell me is that, hey, because we are in equilibrium, I don't need to worry all that much before I see my other signals deactivate, right? Or rather activate, right? So we hit our cyclical target. We do have some extension targets that we're going to look for, right? If you guys wanted to take profits, if you guys entered here and you want to take profits over here, by all means, like, good, it's a good freaking trade. Almost a 10x. Not there yet, but almost, right? 150-ish to 140-ish is our next extension target based on this trade. This trade. I'll show you guys one more. And then we have around 200-ish to around 187. Okay. Now, I do also have a cup and handle trade for you guys, but I can't find it at the moment. Okay, I'll bring up the cup and handle trade next time. Do you guys want to talk about crypto sentiment, or do you guys want to talk about the the market timing that we've been talking about recently, where we were looking for the markets to reverse around my birthday? What next? Let me know in the chat. Can't see the chat. Elisa says timing. I mean, sentiment feels less important. Oh, I love that answer. Okay. Yeah. So let's talk about the timing. Sentiment in a way is a tad bit important this time because we kind of have some confluence going on. But let's start with this. Wolby says, I think we will see some good upside in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, I would tend to agree, but I would give it a tad bit more time just to be safe, and we'll discuss why on this chart. So what I've marked out over here, guys, is essentially every one of my birthdays over the past three birthdays, right? So 2025, 2024, 2023. What we've been doing over here at Mango is playing these 6-month patterns, 6-month cycles. Now, people think that because I'm saying 6-month cycle, a cycle needs to only go up for 6 months, right? Or only go down for 6 months. Well, there's a third option. It can even go sideways for 6 months. Cycles, that's how we play. We play them in chunks of what we're going to do for the cycle. Are we going to be looking for upside? Are we going to be looking for downside? Or are we going to be looking for consolidation? Now, leading into this September, this birthday, I had because of what we've been doing, we were prepping for, hey, we're either going to top into the cycle and then see a drawdown, or we're going to bottom into we're going to top into my birthday and then see a drawdown, or we're going to bottom into my birthday and we're going to see a drawdown, right? I allow for both. Now, thus far, each time you can see that we've kind of bottomed around my birthday. Now, guys, is this a coincidence that this happens around my birthday? I know you guys. Okay, it's just a coincidence. Okay, this is a coincidence. Don't take any of this seriously. We're using this as benches, okay, as benchmarks. Don't take this too seriously in it being a special day or something like that. It just happened to be a coincidence because we're going through these 6-month cycles, and we seem to have bottomed in 2023, somewhere around there. But it took a few days, right, before we actually had the impulsive move, will we? So 40 days, so a month. So we bottomed around it, but took a month before we actually saw upside, like the big impulsive move. So watch out for that. And then most recently, September 2024, same story. We bottomed somewhere around there, and then it took us I wouldn't say it took us a while. We did see an impulsive move pretty quickly, but yeah, we saw upside. Now, this time too, we could have been looking for the same thing, but I wanted to be safe. I did not want to be arrogant, and I don't want to be looking only for bottoms. It could be tops, right? And then we see a bottom leading into it. Now, to be safe and not to be arrogant, what I also said was we're going to be drawing zones around the birthday, right? So that'll allow us to have room for error. So I've gone ahead and marked that out for you guys over here too. So I'm going to go clean out these squigglies. Boom, boom, right? So now with this, right, it checks our biases, okay? And these zones are equidistant, right, from the center. And I basically copy-pasted them. I'm just going to adjust them, I guess, a tad bit. I want to move this to the side if it lets me. Okay. So over here, we could essentially be saying market's likely going to bottom or top somewhere around this zone. Okay, bottom or top. Okay. In hindsight, we're looking at it. The market had a bottoming cycle, right? The cycle bottomed there, and then we had another cycle, right, for around 6 months. Now over here too. We had, and then I want to measure from here to here. What do you know? 6 months, right? So this is an example of sideways consolidation. So you had 6 months of up, right? I bet if you measure from there to there, it's around 6 months. Yeah, around 6 months, 160 days, give or take 20 days. And then we had a up cycle, then a sideways cycle, and then we had another up cycle, right? Now, here's the thing. This time we were expecting something similar. Either the cycle tops in the zone or bottoms in the zone. And I want to make this very, very clear to you guys, and at the same time, very, very confusing. If you look at it through the zone, we don't know yet whether the market is bottoming or topping here, right? This is where I'm contradicting myself a tad bit to humble ourselves as a community, because I want us to be completely cognizant of the fact that if we got the zone wrong by like a week or two, we could be adjusting it a tad bit there, right? And that could be the top. What if this over here, guys, is a bear flag that is forming, and this is us topping into the zone before a further breakdown? Now, I'm not playing it that way. I want to make it very clear that I'm not playing it that way. But we got to entertain that possibility until we see the confirmation, right? I've been telling you guys recently, there's no reason to force a trade on Bitcoin here, right? I've been bullish on Bitcoin this whole cycle. Like, you guys kept hearing me say the complete opposite. Why trade anything else? Trade only Bitcoin. Why trade anything else? Trade only Bitcoin. I said that for years. Now I'm saying the complete opposite. There's no reason to force a trade on Bitcoin until we see the signs. You hit the drop down over here on the dashboard. We just got a flip long on the 12-hour, but for the longest time, this was still neutral to short as well. Short, actually. 1 day short, 2 day short, 4 day short. The weekly is neutral. There's no reason to force this. Let's just wait, okay? So I'm giving you guys a contradiction to my thesis. This is the invalidation to my thesis that we could actually, I wouldn't say invalidation. It still fits my thesis, right? I'm just giving you guys a different interpretation of how the markets might be unfolding. We don't want to be caught off guard later down the road, seeing this breakdown and be like, oh yeah, of course, I was right, but I didn't see that I was right. You guys see what I mean? Okay, so how do we know? When do we get the signs? Well, again, we're going to go ahead and use what we've been using. And another example, Lisa, of us being dynamic this cycle, right? We identified here that, hey, we are noticing something. Bitcoin is following the 2-day. Even though we were playing the 4-day, and it worked on the 4-day as well, there was a little bit more edge on the 2-day because we were getting earlier signals, right? So saw the exit over here, rejection, and then we played it this time around, right, on the 2-day. And then we got like a double top. We were expecting the 2-day to break. This was a seed exclusive video that we did, by the way. So you don't know what I'm talking about, but I posted a video saying, hey guys, the first big trigger is going to be, we noticed this, right? Wasn't looking good, did not like it. The 2-day dynamic being lost, then the 2-day tanking, and we're looking for the key, blah, 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 blah. Now, we could see further downside. Like I said, by the way, the bear flag I was talking about is here, right? This could be a bear flag. Boom, right? It could still happen. We don't know. Remember, we have a 2-week band, right? Going back to it, this band still has a few weeks a few days to go, we could see another downside move, and then we could see the upside move. So there's room for the bears to play. But how do you know that the bears are done? Well, again, we're going to be watching for something. We've been watching this entire, Feb? So this entire year right now, 9 months. The claim of the two-day dynamic. If we see price claim the two-day dynamic over here, that's going to be a really, 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 really good sign. When does it turn into a I wouldn't say bad sign. When does this turn into a cautionary sign? When we, for example, see a trend like this, see us reclaim, maybe even bounce off it one more time, take out the highs, and then lose the two-day dynamic again. And all this while, if the alts are running and Bitcoin is doing that, I am going to be one step closer to saying that we are close to the top of the cycle. Because that's going to be a sign to me that we are seeing Bitcoin distribution into alts, and just got to be on guard. Now, I don't want to scare any of you because there's nothing to be scared of. Believe me, if you play the bear markets well, you will always look back and be super, super happy that they happened. Yeah, I've asked Krisha this multiple times too. If you had to go back in time and take away any of the bear markets, would you? And then she sat back and said, holy shit, you're right, I wouldn't. Because if it wasn't for the bear markets, trust me, you want the bear markets. Play it well though. You don't want to get wrecked. If you play it mango, you're going to be happy the bear markets come. So you're going to make a lot of money if you execute well in a bear market and then sit through a bull market. You have less work to do in a bull market if you play the bear markets well. Of course, you gotta know how to play the bear markets well. And if you guys want to learn how to play the markets well, not just the crypto markets, but any markets, check out the Mango Seed program at themangoway.com/seed. Oh man, I'm getting good at this. Okay. We are running a discount, FYI guys. Birthday sale coupon code is BDAY 2025 or BDAY 25. Both of them or one of them should work. Okay. So I hope I got that messaging out to you guys. I know it's confusing, but we aren't at the phase yet where things are completely black or white, and that is that opportunity of that zone of doubt is the zone of max opportunity, right? And how do we play this? How do we play this? Well, the play, in my opinion, is to use Bitcoin as a barometer for market risk and market health, but be putting on trades on coins that are looking strong, right? SUI is one of them. We've been talking about the others in the Mango Discord, the free Mango Discord. You guys can all join the mangoway.com/discord. And just stick to strong coins, guys. Stick to strong coins. Let's go on over to XRP USDT. Before I do that, though, we'll answer Krisha's. We're going to be talking about XRP soon. Beautiful chart, in my opinion. Krisha's question on neutral, the market being neutral. Something I've been noticing for a while now, right, guys, is if you simply this cycle, okay, or rather, let me put it this way: as long as it's a bull market, as long as it's been a bull market, you've been rewarded for buying somewhere around the neutral zone, like this line over here, right? On the crypto fear and greed index, we're looking at coinmarketcap.com's fear and greed index, right? So if you come back all the way down, actually we can go all the way back over here, right? If you bought somewhere around here, when it was orange, let's say it's orange, okay? It's orange. Bitcoin's price was 28,000. That was a good bid because Bitcoin rallied to 70,000 after. Then right over here, whenever Bitcoin came down to this region again, around orangish, Bitcoin was 55, 53, 57, 60. Great bid opportunities, right? And then you saw a rally again to around $95,000 to $100,000. Now, this is where things get really, really interesting. And we could have been watching this. Price then crossed past the neutral zone all the way down to fear, right? And if you notice something, guys, right, we actually have a divergence of how all of this played out, because price dropped from around, let's say, 99-ish, 98-ish, all the way down to 86,000, right? So around $20,000 because I think we went down to around 79ish at the low. But the push down in terms of nominal value was the same as the push down from here. But sentiment made a lower low, right? But price made a higher low. So there was and you don't want to use it just as simply as that, but you can think about the force of the sentiment compared to the force of price, even through nominal values, right? Because over here, price went down the same amount in terms of nominal value, but sentiment was still pretty good. Over here, sentiment was so trash, but price should have gone down way more to warrant this sentiment. So we had divergence there. Now again, you can see that sentiment is as bad now as it was when we were consolidating at around 50K. And everyone thought we were at market top over there because we were consolidating for like 6 months sideways, right? 6 months. And price was like cracking at that $55,000 level over and over and over again. We are now sitting at around $115,000 and sentiment is at those levels. So all of this is telling me that these are healthy levels for Bitcoin overall, but there's still no reason through a technical analysis perspective for me to force a trade on Bitcoin. Does that make sense? MC says, no worries, I just love the meme at this point. We shouldn't play towards it, but damn, it's accurate now. Well, I may have missed something. Are you guys talking about to be honest, seed is interesting in many ways. It's also a nice go-to guide in your journey when you actually encounter certain. Yeah. It's I often tell folk that the people who have gotten the most out of seed are the people who have rewatched it multiple times. There's this guy, right, who made multi-millions in seed, and of course he's made so many millions, he doesn't need to trade as much anymore. But he came back like a few years later saying, hey Sean, I was just rewatching so-and-so module, and I just want to say thank you so much because I was able to get that much more out of it, because now he's trading like TradFi and stuff, right? And I was just like, holy crap, man, this guy has already watched it so many times. I know because I can see, by the way, how many rewatches you guys have, how much content you guys have finished, etc. Right? So I know he's watched it so many times, and now years later, after making so many millions, he's still putting in that hard work, and that's what it takes, guys. You know, like just doing the bare minimum is not gonna get you guys, not gonna make your dreams come true, right? Right, it's simply just buying the course too, and then feeling good about yourself because you bought the course without watching it a single time is not going to make your dreams come true, right? I know some of you guys just buy the course to be in the private chat and to be with the rest of the seedlings, but why not take advantage of the content as well? Like I put my heart and soul into creating that content in a very, very, very special way. And all you need to do is wake up in the morning, spend 20 minutes, right? 20 minutes every morning, right? Buy one of those walking track pads, right? Put it under your desk and watch. That way you're getting some cardio in the morning and also getting some education. And there's no reason not to. So, and anyways, going back to my point, coming back and rewatching certain segments because the market phase is matching that segment is so important. You're right, MC. Totally agree. Okay, XRP. So I've been getting questions like XRP too, and I think people are missing the beauty of this chart. I think people are trying to overtrade this chart on the lower time frames. I've often said that the highest time frame, or rather the lowest time frame you should probably be trading XRP on, is the bi-weekly. Now you can go down to the weekly if you want, but I recommend looking at the bi-weekly. It'll just keep your life so much easier, and it's so clean, right? We marked out this buy/bounce zone even after we broke out. So essentially this entire red box is going to be a buy zone, right? And we're expecting a bounce off the zone. Now we're looking at the bi-weekly, so this is going to take a few candles to play out. Like we're seeing only 1, 2, 3, 4, and people try to impose their time preference onto an asset. You guys, you have no call. You have no call. Okay, you have to take the time preference the asset wants to play in. Because if you are telling me, oh my God, XRP is taking so long, but I'm looking at XRP on this chart over here, I'm just counting candles. I don't care whether it's the bi-weekly candle or the monthly candle, right? Now, if you need your money really quickly and you want to basically grow your money from X to whatever Z, I should be using letters, from A to B within a certain time frame, then you can have that criteria and tell yourself, okay, I'm only going to be playing assets that are fitting that criteria, right? That are trading within that criteria. But you can't have both. You can't say I'm only going to be trading XRP and I want my time preference on it, right? You can't do that. Like, for example, if I'm saying I'm only going to be trading Bitcoin, I'm going to assess and analyze and spend time figuring out what time frame is Bitcoin trading on. What time frame is it moving on? And if it's moving on the monthly time frame, all I'll be doing is switching to the monthly and then counting the candles. That's how long Bitcoin is taking. It's taking candles amount of time, not days that matter to me. No, all Bitcoin cares about is the amount of candles. So when I'm looking at XRP on the bi-weekly, all I see is one nice impulsive candle, right? And then 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 consolidation candles. That's it. It's not even put in a low yet, right? This is completely fine. This is a higher low, right? Likely going to be putting in this low over here now, and then maybe another impulsive candle. So all it took was 4 candles and you guys got impatient. Now, don't count the days that those candles took to transpire. That doesn't matter. If you let that matter, then you're trading it wrong, right? So we have 4 candles into a buy bounce zone, and now we could see an impulsive move. And then you guys are going to feel stupid, right? Because look at this monthly. You just look at this monthly. It's freaking gorgeous. Like, this is what you guys can do, okay? Forget all the noise. I just bit my freaking gum. Ow. Forget all the noise of the wicks and the greens and the reds. Just turn on your line chart. And look how stupid you guys are all going to feel when you see this line extend like that. You're going to be like, why was I so impatient? All I had to wait through was this period. Like this little period here. It's nothing. It's nothing. And XRP is playing on the higher time frames. So all of this is to say that if you're playing XRP and you're forcing trades on it, don't force trades on it. Find another coin that is trading well, because XRP is currently being played on the higher time frames. And if you're putting on high leverage trades on an asset that is playing on the high time frames, you are begging to get wrecked. If you want to trade an asset because you want volatility, go on over to the dashboard, find an asset. When I'm talking about trade an asset, I'm talking about, like, the daily, the 2-day, the 12-hour, even the 4-hour. Find something with momentum on the lower to mid time frames, right? Recently, Ethereum has been fantastic for that. It recently flipped arm neutral, short neutral, right? But for the longest time, it was green across the board. I was showing it to you guys. I'm like, trade this, trade this, trade this, right? Know when to step away from your favorite asset and use another asset to collect more of your favorite asset. Can you request a coin? Sure, Bon. Go for it. So XRP looking great. SUI is looking great too. Let's go ahead and... So we had a bit of a fake out. I want to show it to you guys really quickly. Right, oh, it's right there. You can see it here, right underneath the box. But then it reclaims it and give you a retest to get back in if you wanted to. Now seeing resistance at the top of the box as well as the 2-day dynamic. We're not playing the 2-day dynamic for a trend though, eh? Just using it as support and resistance and confluence with our red box over here. If you go ahead and look at SUI, I think it's really interesting how this trend line has been. Now, remember, trend lines can be drawn in multiple ways, but all I did was connect this wick here, right? You can connect that wick somewhere around there if you want, but I'm connecting this wick here. You could draw it this way too, by the way. So this wick, but now that we have this wick, what we're going to do is connect that wick. Okay, cool. So I think we could be seeing a really, really nice ascending triangle formation being put up over here. If we break out, we have targets. Krishna's target around 5.5. I have a zone marked around it, and then we have my targets around $7 and then 10. I closed my XRP trade nicely, and I'm looking to re-enter into Sol now. Nice. Well done, Elisa. Good job. Wolvie says, dashboard is fantastic. Got me into a trade this morning. Spill the beans. Tell us which coin. See, cool, because I haven't seen you check CFX for a while. Have I ever checked it? I don't remember ever checking that coin. Let's go take a look. If I checked it, there's probably some drawings on it. Colfax Group PLC. What the hell are you trading, man? This guy's gone TradFi on us. I'm kidding. Oh, Athena. Let's see, monthly. This looks messy, man. Looks very messy. This is probably why I don't remember this chart, because I don't want to remember this chart. I guess you could look at this bi-weekly bull flag. It's just... I have nothing to say about this, man. I wouldn't trade this. See, like, it'll randomly pump because of bull market things, but... Like, look at what it did. Okay, I'm just going to remove these drawings for you guys. I'll bring it back in a sec. Look at what it did here, okay? That was a trap on the bi-weekly. Let's see if it did on the monthly too. Monthly, it wicked into these lows here. I guess you could play it on the monthly, but I wouldn't touch this. Elisa says, honestly, the dashboard has been such a missing part of my Confluence. I love it. Yeah, the dashboard is a bias checker too, right? Like, think about it. You have a bias against, like me, for example. I have a bias against an asset, and then I have a bias for an asset, Bitcoin, and then I hit the drop down and I see this. I'm like, oh man, like I can't be a hypocrite, right? This is one thing I love about doing these daily videos and these streams, right? It holds me accountable because I'm saying all these things to you guys on the daily videos, on the live stream. Then I'd feel like real shit, right? That internal hurdle is there to live up to the example I'm trying to set for you guys. So yeah, now Bitcoin has flipped along on the 12-hour, which is looking good, but I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet with Bitcoin, but it's your bias check, right? But it also allows you to prep to flip your bias. That's what I loved, right? That's how we were able to flip our bias on Ethereum. Because remember, guys, Mango was bearish Ethereum longer than anyone. Because I took up like a fight with one of these TradFi dudes. I forget his name. I keep forgetting, Travis something. And you know, because he's running a hedge fund, he has this authority bias to lure noobs into doing stupid shit. But of course, you know, I thought he was just... I mean, can I get sued for saying... You know what, I'm not going to say anything. I'll say it in the private seed chat. I'm not going to say anything. Oh my God. Before I know it, I'm getting hit with a defamation lawsuit. Yeah, even though it's true. You know, Jesus Christ. Yes, but be careful, guys. Just because someone has a hedge fund tag attached to him doesn't mean he knows what he's talking about. Because this guy had no idea what he was talking about, and lost his clients a lot of money too at the end of it all. Oh yeah, we were talking about Ethereum. Jesus Christ, we're talking about Ethereum, right? Oh yeah, we're on Ethereum. ETH BTC. Right? We were bearish ETH BTC for like the longest time, right? All the way since here. And this is where he posted that hedge fund dude I was talking to you guys about. He posted right over here, right, literally the top, hey guys. He posted saying, the ETH BTC chart speaks for itself. It's so freaking obvious. Anyone not buying ETH is just stupid. So something like that. There's just that's strong words to lure noobs, and I'm like, really? Because this chart looks like complete garbage to me. Wolvie remembers, because I don't like call people out on Twitter usually, right? But yeah, it just was getting to me at the time. These guys were so arrogant, right? Raul was like, and I give Raul so much credit this cycle, right? Because he changed. It seems like at the very least he might go back to his nonsense again. But at the time too, Raul too was like getting on my nerves, and all these guys. Anyways, I was like, this chart looks like freaking garbage. Out of all the charts, you cannot tell people to sell their Bitcoin for ETH here. And that's exactly what he was doing, telling the noobs. And he was like showing up on all these podcasts too, gaining a lot of like popularity. I was just like, man, really, this looks like such shit, this chart. And what do you know was the exact top. And we had a target at the time, all the way down here. Remember Wolvie? Do you remember how it seemed so far away? Well, anyways, for Mango to flip their bias was difficult because we were years bearish. And at the time too, I told you guys that when price does come down here, I'm going to find some excuse to not buy, right? I could tell the mistake I was going to make, and I made the mistake. I wouldn't call it a mistake because I was in a different asset that did better, but I should have probably, just allocated some Bitcoin instead, right? But Bitcoin dominance hadn't I have enough excuses to feel good about my excuse, all right? But we did get in here. So it's fine. But man, I nailed that trade. But does it really matter if I couldn't execute it perfectly? Almost perfectly, right? Yeah, it was the dream, and then I didn't buy it. I did that for hype. So it happens, man. I think we're good for today's stream. By the way, guys, if you guys are looking to take any of the trades that we've been talking about over here at Mango, we do recommend Bitfinex. We're doing a Mango anniversary sale at the moment. Combine it with Sean's birthday, right? You guys have a chance to win a MacBook Pro, AirPods Max, an Apple Watch. This is amazing. And a Rolex too. I even asked them about this Rolex. And I'm like, holy shit, because you can't get a Rolex easily. Did you guys know that? You walk into a Rolex showroom and ask to buy a Rolex, they put you on a freaking waiting list. I was like, who waits for something they want, right? Like, that's bullshit. Right? That's bullshit. I don't think that should be a thing. There's no way. Anyways, so apparently they do have, they get it like from there's like an aftermarket apparently. So yeah. And the deposit bonuses too that you guys all so freaking love, that's back as well. So they combine the two, so you can actually get both. The deposit 2,000, you get the 400, and on top of that, with the trading, you have a chance to win some Dogecoin as well, etc., etc. You can find the link. You got to use the Mango link though, by the way, guys. Some of you guys don't use the Mango link, and then we got to go and manually set it up so you guys qualify for the rewards. Make sure that you guys are clicking on the mangolink.com. Sorry, the Mango link downstairs. Or you could type the mangoway.com/Bitfinex. The mangoway.com/Bitfinex. This, by the way, don't underestimate it. This kind of thing can go a long way in saving you a lot of frustration, especially getting those initial trades set up at the beginning of a 6-month cycle. So remember, we are expecting a 6-month cycle to either begin to an upside move, or hey, maybe to a downside. Maybe it's a bear flag. We don't know, right? I'm playing for this to be an upside move, which is why I'm putting on positions on my altcoins. Right. So if you guys are putting on longs or shorts, that $400, right, can really help buffer some losses, either shorts or longs. Doesn't matter, because 100% goes into protecting you against those losses. So 100% of it, right? Or it buffs your profits that much more because you get that much more leverage, right? So yeah, take advantage of this. And I think we are good. The last thing that, again, I want to remind you guys is that the coupon is still running for the birthday sale. They will be running for the next few days. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, this live stream. I think we covered everything important. SUI, XRP, yeah. We'll do Cardano in the next live stream. Keep it mango, keep it easy, keep it stress free. Ciao, guys.